Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, with very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. This invocatory verse, which I have already explained to you. Now coming to the text of Sri Ramcharitmanas in Balakanda. Presently, Saint Tulsidas gives insight into Rama Mantra. Rama. And it is prologue state of his writing of the Ramayana. Is also invoking grace of sages and saints, of God himself, for composing the Ramayana in the best way possible. Gira artha jala bichisam kahiyata bhinna na bhinna bandau Sita Rama pad jinahi parama priya khinna. I offer adorations to the lotus feet of Sita Ram. How are they related? Apparently, we speak of Sita Ram, two words. But in reality, they are abhinna, inseparable. Turning your attention to the Vedantic insight, Brahman is Rama and Sita is Prakriti. Prakriti, that's the magical power of Brahman. That magical power turns into three directions. Maya, Brahman through Maya expresses himself as Vishnu, the sustainer, Brahma, the creator, Shiva, the destroyer. Brahman through Rajas predominating Prakriti, Avidya, that's the name, expresses in the form of countless souls evolving through the world of matter. And Brahman through Tamas predominating Prakriti manifests in the form of the world of matter. The beginning manifestation is Panchatattvas, 5 subtle elements. And those subtle elements go to evolve subtle world as well as physical world. Subtle world of mind, intellect, senses. In Vedanta, they are all made up of matter. Subtle matter. And gross matter has created this whole world. In the state of enlightenment, matter doesn't matter. Until then, matter does matter. That's just a joke. That Prakriti that has evolved all this, that's Sita. And Brahman is Rama. That Sita Ram, I offer adorations to the feet of Sita Ram. Jinahi parama priya khinna. For Sita Ram, those who are kin. The ordinary translation is poor. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the meek. That type of concept. Not poverty, but poor implies one who has developed detachment from his body, mind, intellect, and of course detachment from objects of the world. One who realizes that nothing in this world is real, that Rama, God, is the only refuge only support, in fact, the only reality. The more you develop that insight that Rama alone exists for you, Rama is your source of boundless love. And Rama is the one who loves you most because there is nobody else there. Then you become khinna. Khinna means, Sanskrit word is kshina, attenuated. The world experience has three aspects: seer, seen, and sight. Subject, the world around you, and the way you interact with the world. All the three have become inflated in human being. They are fat. Chin means thinned out. Your concept, I am, the ego, that thins out. The world is real, that thins out. The interacting experience of pleasure and pain, that also thins out. Then you are a khinna. You have become a devotee of advanced nature. And for God, you become Paramapriya. For God, the entire universe is dear. But the devotee becomes supremely dear. Whoever has developed that type of mind that moves away from the illusion of triad. For easier understanding of triad, think of dream. In dream, three things have gone wrong: the dream subject, the dream world, and the interacting experience of pleasure and pain. When all the three begins to fade away, you develop the waking state and realize all this is a dream. Fading away of the illusion that the world is real. When this fades away, begins to fade away, you have become mystically poor, well qualified for receiving the love of God. Bandau naam Ram Raghuvar ko, hetu krisanu bhanu himakar ko, vidhi hari haramay preved pranaso, agun anupam guna nidhanaso. I adore the divine name Rama. Rama has three aspects: R, A, M. Putting it more in English wise, R, double A, M. First letter R is called Agni Bij. Agni is fire. Manipur Chakra, the Kundalini center at navel center. The root letter of that navel center is R. And that sound, yogis are advised to repeat Ram sound for awakening Manipur Chakra and allowing the Kundalini to pass through it. If Kundalini were to pass through Manipur Chakra, you become involved in Karma Yoga. Actions continue to be one's reality, but actions go on creating karmas. But with R sound, mind focused on R, you turn the direction of karma. Karma, instead of bringing fruits in the world of time and space, your expectation is purity of heart. You have to understand that point. Do the same action, and you have two angles. One, you are looking at practical reality of the action. You are calculating. I have sown a seed in the ground. how long it will take to grow up into a tree. And then until then, you keep your tongue tied. I'm joking. But each time you see it, you remember the taste of the mango. So your whole activity is towards karma phal, fruit of karma. Now change the angle. I have sown the seed as offering to God. From practical point of view, that offering will bring you fruits. Even if it didn't bring you any fruits, it will give fruit for the squirrels and monkeys. If not, I'm just joking. The fruits can be used by human beings and many others. You are not the only one to have the fruit. If you have that type of understanding, the karma you are doing is not just for what you expect, but let it be in the divine hands. The Ra term relates to that movement of allowing Kundalini to pass through navel center, turning your karma into karma yoga, removing malas, gross impurities, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Most of you know the meaning of this. Subtle desires, perverted desire, kama, krodha, anger, lobha, greed, moha, delusion, mada, pride, conceit, matsarya, jealousy, and all related vices. They are called mala. Mala grips human mind to such an extent, because you have gone through countless lives allowing mala to dominate the mind. Our term goes after your mala. Our term relates to Kundalini moving upwards from navel to Ajna chakra. When Kundalini passes through the Anahat chakra at your heart center, vasanas become purified. Subtle desires, they change into Shubha Vasana, pure desires. And when Kundalini passes through the throat center, you experience mystical expansion. Therefore, whenever you are happy, it is the throat center that expresses itself. And ultimately, that A turns into Ajna chakra between the eyebrows. So with R, you have opened up the Manipur chakra. A leading the Kundalini up, piercing your heart center and Ajna chakra. And Ma, Sahasrara chakra, 1,000-petaled lotus. Ma is a short version of Amrit, nectar. Ma, Mama. Complete fulfillment. So imagine all that is implied in the word Ram. Also understand from a broad point of view that whoever is your Ishta Devata, develop the same feeling, whether it is Krishna, Jesus, Lakshmi Devi, Saraswati Devi, whoever is your Ishta Devata, that Ishta Devata is Brahman. Never underestimate or keep a lesser view of your own Ishta Mantra. That Ishta Mantra is Rama, that one is Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, whomsoever. Ishta Mantra is always Brahman, the Absolute. If you don't have that attitude, still you will have benefit. But with that proper attitude, you have profound benefit. Turning to Rama Mantra. Rama is a blend of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, with R, with a sound relating to karma, action, creativity. The source of creativity is Brahma, the creator. With R term, it relates to your heart center. And that's where there comes feeling of joy, peace, contentment. And finally, as Kundalini moves throughout the Agnya Chakra between the eyebrows, Tattva Gyan develops, knowledge of truth that removes darkness. Jiva becomes Shiva. The soul realizes I am Brahman. All these implied by the word Ram, Ram, Ram. How deep you want to go into it, that will depend upon you. Maha Mantra joi japat mahesu, kasi mukuti hetu padeshu, mahima jasu jana ganarau, prathama pujiyat nama prabhau. Lord Shiva, it is believed, and that's the Hindu tradition, constantly repeats Ram, Ram in Kashi, Benares. And because of his constant devotion to Rama, anyone going into that Kashi with a devotional heart becomes recipient of Shiva's mantra Ram and attains liberation. The simple understanding is there that whoever dies in Kashi attains liberation. Because at the dying state, it is believed that Shiva comes and whispers Rama in the ears of the dying person. Mahima jasu najana ganarau, prathama pujiyat nama prabhau. Ganesha became the first worshipped god because of the power of divine name. Some of these I am repeating. That is Gada Parinyaya. When the gods had that competition, who should be the first worshipped? And Shiva said, all of you take a challenge, go around the universe, and whoever comes first will be the first worshipped. So all the gods with their different vehicles speeded up to go around the whole universe. Ganesha, whose vehicle is only a rat, but his wisdom is profound. He simply laughed at people going around the universe. In his mind, he knew Shiva is more than universe. And Shiva is right in front of him. He sat upon upon his rat and circled, went around Shiva and adored him. Shiva said, Ganesha, you didn't go for this big race. Ganesha says, I'm not a dullwit. Shiva said, indeed, you will be the first worshipped God. And the mantra that he adopted while sitting upon that rat was Ram, Ram, Ram. That made him the first worshipped God. जान आदि कवि नाम प्रतापु भयउ शुद्ध तरि उलटा जापू सहस नाम सम सुनि शिव बानी जपि जय पिय संग भवानी. Adi Kavi Valmiki, prior to becoming Valmiki, he was an ordinary robber. And once he captured Narada because his veena, he thought it was valuable. Not so valuable, at least something is better. So caught hold of Narada and wanted to snatch his veena out of him. Narada told him, "Why are you doing that? For whom? Or don't you realize this is a negative karma?" And in brief, he said, "I'm doing it for my family members." Narada said, "Go and ask them, will they share the sinful karmas? And the result of sinful karmas are terrible pain. Will they share pain?" He goes there and they all say, "It's your duty to serve us, to nourish us. We are not for going into any painful experience because that's your responsibility what you do." And Valmiki came to realize his name was Ratnakar. And he received Rama Mantra from Narada. In the beginning, he was unable to utter the word. But Mara word is easy. Mara means people killed by him. He was a killer and all that type of thing. Any dead body is called Mara. And he started repeating Mara, 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 Mara. Behind this storyline, the idea is to understand that when your mind is filled with Mala, you don't repeat the name in a straight way. You may say Ram, Ram. But the Ram term is not, every mantra has two stages, Supt and Jagrat. Supt, that's dormant. You repeat the mantra, but you don't awaken its power. But when you repeat the same mantra with a mind that has good feeling, and you are striving to make the mind full of virtue, it goes both ways. Mantra begins to help you, and the power that is hidden in a mantra gets awakened. So we say Mantra Chaitanya became awakened. Then it begins to change your personality in a profound way. So in the storyline, Valmiki repeated Mara, 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 which turned into Ram, Ram. In actual mystic line, it simply means you repeat Ram, Ram, but in the beginning, you are not receiving all its impact. If you continue repeating it, Ram has its power and its positive, profound associations. It is charged with profound spiritual vibrations. So even when you don't know and you go on repeating it, Mantra Chaitanya is awakened. When awakened, you become transformed. You don't live for coming into the world again and again. You live to be joined, be united with Rama. You live to attain liberation. And there is another storyline that Uma Devi, Lord Shiva's consort, Devi, just like Sita and Rama, so Parvati and Shiva, or Uma or Shiva. Uma Devi wanted to know what mantra she should repeat. And she said, "Why not give me generously 1,000 names?" And Lord Shiva said, "Just say Ram, Ram, Ram. That Ram will excel 1,000 names." And Parvati Devi became a profound devotee of Rama. Because Ramayana gives you further story of Shiva, Parvati. Shiva himself goes on repeating Ram, Ram, is a Ram Bhakta. And Parvati Devi does the same. Being devotees of Rama, Parvati and Shiva enjoy profound divine love. Harshe he tu heri har hi ko, kiye bhushanati bhushanati ko, नाम प्रभाव जान शिवनी को कालकूट फल दीनामी को. When Shiva saw Parvati's love for Rama Mantra, he became so happy, and she made Parvati the crest jewel of all Devis. He made her a part of himself. And it is because of the divine name Rama and the japa of that name that Shiva drank Kalkut poison that emerged from the ocean, churning of the ocean, and how poison first came out. And that poison stopped the churning process. Gods and demons, they looked up to Shiva. Shiva drank up the poison. All these stories are highly mystical. I'm not going to enter into those details, that they will come also in later. The idea behind it, just like you have Lord Jesus experiences cross in order to pay for the sins of all living beings. That was like Kalakut poison. Jesus drank up the poison, he went through crucifixion, and thereby he exhausted the sinful karmas of all. But then, unless you become devoted to Jesus, that what he has done is not applicable to you. You continue to be haunted by your sinful karmas. But the moment you have surrendered, then you don't count your karmas. They have been already drunk up. Shiva has drunk them up. Going into further mystic vision, once your mind turns to bhakti, devotion to God, there is no need for you to calculate how many karmas have I done. Your whole mind is focused upon, I am not the ego. I am Satchidananda. So the Kalakuta poison doesn't even exist. It exists only when you are in a state of ignorance. Varsha Ritu Bhagat Ragupati Bhagati Tulsi Sali Sudas Rama Nama Varavana Jug Savana Bhadava Mas. Devotion to Rama is like rainy season. The devotees are like paddy field that enjoys rain. And the name Ram, they are like Savan and Bhado months. Shravan and Bhadra. And they fall in July, August, September. All the details don't matter. The simple idea is, just like in the rainy season, the paddy field enjoys rains. Your mind should enjoy Japa of Ram. When we started doing Ram, Ram, allow your whole mind to feel a sense of thrill. If it is not thrilling, imagine. Aakhar madhur manohar do, varan vilochan jan jiya jo, sumirat sulabh sukhad sab kahu, lokal lahu paralok nivahu. Ra and Ma, they are very sweet and profoundly interesting letters. Among all the letters of the grammar, consonants and vowels, and all the literary base. Among all those letters, Ra and Ma, they are like two eyes. If the literature didn't have these two eyes, it would be blind. This also has a practical value. Whether you write English literature, Sanskrit literature, Hindi literature, try to avoid the sound R, the sound A, and the sound M. You'll find you will be shrunk to 10% of literature, or even less. Another unique nature of Ramayana, all that has been created by Tulsidas, chaupais, dohas, sorathas, there are different types of verses. Every line contains Ra or Ma. There is not a single line in which Ra or Ma will not be there. And that helps people to know who has interpolated the Ramayana. But this is something additional. Kahak sunat sumirat suthini ke Ram lakam samapiye priya tulsi ke Varanat varan vipriti bilagati Brahma jiva samaj sahaj sanghati. The mantra, while uttering it, while listening to the mantra, or remembering the mantra, the effect is profound. In all these ways, you are just talking about the glory of Ram, or you are listening to Ram Mantra, or you are remembering how did you enjoy a Ram Kirtan or something about Rama. Tulsidas ji says, for me, Ram is like Rama and Lakshmana together. Ram points out to the unity of Jiva and Brahman. Jiva is awakened with the term R. And when Kundalini meets Sasrar, the Jiva realizes, I am Brahman. Nara Narayan Saris Subhrata Jagapalak Visheshi Janatrata Bhagati Sutiya Kala Karan Vibhushan Jagahit Hetu Vimala Vidupushan. These two letters, Ra and Ma, they are like sages Nara and Narayana. That relates to the stories from the Puranas, that Lord Vishnu in the form of Nara and Narayana, they perpetually practice austerity, meditation in the greatest shrine in India called Badri Kedar. And it is these Nara and Narayana they incarnated as Arjuna and Krishna. Narayana became Krishna, Nara became Arjuna. But going beyond the storyline, the idea is every soul is essentially Nara, and more essentially a ray of Narayana, a ray of God. Remember when Hanuman had asked Rama, how am I related to you? The answer was given in three ways. Deha buddhya tu dasoham. From the point of view of the body, as long as you view your body, I am. You are a slave and Rama is the master. On the point of view of the soul, you are a ray and Rama is like the sun. And from the point of view of the self, innermost self, Rama alone is. I am Rama. I am slave to Rama. I am a ray of Rama. I am Rama. 3 stages in your upasana. Mantra remains Ram, Ram. Your upasana goes in stages. While doing Ram, Ram, you view yourself, I'm a slave. Oh Lord, use me, make me your instrument. Or your mind can be in another level. Oh Lord, I am competing with your qualities. You are compassionate, I am going to be compassionate. Let me grow in your image. And third level, I and you are one and the same. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. All these are covered by simple mantra, Ram, Ram, Ram. स्वादतोष सब सुगति सुधा के कमठ शेष समधर वसुधा के जनमन मंजु कंज मधुकर से जीह जसोमति हरिहलधर से. Ram, the different type of bhavana that one should develop. Ram relates to tasting nectar, taste and satisfaction. Swad and tripti. When you repeat Ram, your mind should develop a sense of enjoying a nectarine chocolate. When you are enjoying it, it has 2 stages. One salivation stage and another nutritional penetration into your whole body. And develop that idea, not only you're just enjoying it, but it is nourishing your whole mind, purifying your intellect. You are penetrating your subconscious. And it becomes a sustainer. Name becomes your support. And it's not a simple idea. If you study the life of Mahatma Gandhi, the divine name Rama was his support. Great austerities he practiced on the basis of strength of Ram Nam. So for a devotee, just like Kachap, the turtle, held upon its back a Meru mountain, that's in the story of Amrita Manthan, churning of the ocean. You develop that Kachap type, a sense of pratyahar, withdrawing from the world, and you discover divine name as a source of all your strength. In brief, you find sustenance. God who sustained the whole Meru mountain. Similarly, Ram Nam is sustaining the mountains of your problems. And then another word is used, Sheshanag. Sheshanag is cosmic mind, represented as a Shesha serpent with 1,000 hoods. He sustains the entire universe and remains absolutely poised. So poised that in his arms, on his body, Lord Vishnu sleeps peacefully. In the mind of devotees, the mind of Rama devotee, mind becomes like a lotus. And Ram becomes the bee buzzing over the lotus. Becomes spontaneous. Jihe jasomati harahala dharase. Just like Yashoda's tongue was constantly involved in calling out Krishna and Balaram, so your mind constantly turns to Rama, Ram, Ram, Ram. Ek chhatro ek mukut mani sab varanani parajo Tulsi Raghubar naam ke varan virajat do. The glory of name continues. Tulsidas ji says that in Devanagari script, that's in that script, Sanskrit, Hindi are written. In that script, R term blends with consonants with we call it Raf. Let's see how to describe it. It's like a question mark without the handle. Cut the handle out of the question mark and put it on the top of a letter. That becomes R. Dharma. Ma, and that Raf on top of it will make it Dharma. Otherwise, Dhamma. With that Raf, Dharma. And how that comes as a crown. And Ma is used as a dot. Kamsa. Ka, a dot over the ka becomes kam. Any letter, dha, and a dot over it, dham. This has gone far and wide, giving the glory of mantra. Samujhat saris nama runami, priti paraspara prabhu anugami, nama rupa dui isha upadhi, akata anadi sum samujhi sadhi. Nam and Nami. Nam is Rama. Nami is Rama, the Lord. There's mysterious connection between the two. You want to realize Rama, you start doing Ram, Ram, the name. As the name begins to enter your heart, you hardly know the difference. The divine presence and the name begins to be inseparable as you advance. And speaking more from practical point of view, Nami goes after Nama. Nami is Ram, Rama the Lord. Nam is his name, Ram. God goes after the devotee who is repeating Ram, Ram, Ram. The moment one begins to utter Ram, a divine touch enters the heart. God goes after the person. God is all-pervading, with equal vision. But the moment a devotee utters Ram, Ram, the devotee becomes special. Another way of saying is Nama and Rupa. Divine name, Ram. Ram is the word. But Rup, the form of God. Here again, Nam is more important than form. And Tulsidas gives an argument about it. Ko bada chot kahata paradhu, suniguna bhedu, samujhi hahi sadhu. Dekhi ahi roop nama adina, roop jnana nahi nama bihina. Which is greater, name or the form? And which is lesser? Tulsidas says this type of argument is faulty. Without name, form is not understood well. So, most practically, name gains its greater importance. Rupa vishesha nama binu jane, kartal gat na parahi pahichane, sumariya nama rupa binu dekhe, avate hridaya saneha vishekhe. If something has been placed in the palm of your hand, you are looking at it, your whole hand is holding it, and yet you don't recognize it. Until someone tells you the name, it's gold. So that's the relationship between Nam and Nami. What you are holding is Nami. Name is gold. And the real gold, you are holding it. Just holding the real one does not give you as much benefit as the name. Once the name is told, then you have a profound impact. All this should not confuse you. Just the point is that whether you repeat the divine name verbally Ram, 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 Ram. Or you close your tongue, just mentally Ram, Ram, Ram. With proper bhavana, feeling. The feeling again has its many dimensions. But whichever you do, whichever way you do, there is always a benefit, a mystical benefit. If you do it properly, the benefit is immense. Nama Rupa Gati Akath Kahani, Samujad Sukhadna Parati Bakhani, Agun Sagun Bichanama Sukha Susaki, Ubhaya Prabodhak Chaturudubhashi. The mystery of name and form is indescribable. As you understand it, it gives great joy, but you cannot put it into words. Between Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman, name is an impartial witness. In other words, it gives insight into Saguna Brahman as well as Nirguna Brahman. Try to understand now. By Saguna Brahman, you are repeating Ram, Ram, and you are thinking of story of Rama, how he destroyed demons, how he showered his compassion over his devotees, and all his great activities. The Naam, the name, the divine name is bringing those into your mind. Turn your mind to another angle. Ram is Satchidananda. Ram is absolute Brahman, on which the whole universe is superimposed by Maya. So, with the help of Ram, you are moving your understanding two ways. Understanding that creates a devotional relation with God. God remains like a human being, loving, well-related, friend, all types of relations blend in him. Or God, who is absolutely beyond names and forms, Parabrahman, Satchidananda. Bhakti and Jnana, that's the idea behind simple words. Ram Japa helps you to develop bhakti as well as Jnana. And of these two, if you secure bhakti, Jnana will be perfect. If you try to secure Jnana without bhakti, you will be in big problem. Rama Nam Mani Deep Dharu, Jiha Dehari Dwar, Tulsi Bhitar Bahar Hu, Jo Chah Siya Ujiyar. It's a famous verse. Repeating the divine name is like putting a lamp at the Dehari Dwar, at the threshold of a building. When you put a lamp at the threshold, it illumines outside the building and inside the building. When you put Ram on your tongue, it illumines outside means the practical world, problems in the world, problems with your body, problems with your senses and objects of the world. That's the outside world. Inside world, your thoughts, your understanding of yourself, mystery about mind, intellect, ego, and the highest mystery, consciousness. So, Ram Nam begins to direct your mind to divine essence, internally and externally. Same God has become the external world. Same God has become your mental world, all your sentiments, your imaginations, etc. Ram directs your attention to both, stripping both of Maya. Then there is nothing but Brahman, internally and externally. With this I will conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.